It's playtime, it's family time, it's anyone and everyone's time. It's circle time! Namiss niyo ba kami? Welcome everyone to Family Life and Child Development Circles podcast. Circle Time! Ako si Teacher Hani.
At ako naman si Teacher Agatha. At kami ang inyong mga hosts para sa episode na ito. So sa nakaraang episode, pinag-usapan natin yung kalagayan ng development ng kabataan ng Pilipinas sa panahon ng pandemya.
So bukod pa rito, nagbigay din ang mga honored guests natin ng iba't ibang developmentally appropriate activities at suggestions sa ating mga taga-subaybay.
At ngayon, sa comeback ng Circle Time, ating ginugunita ang National Children's Month na may temang Healthy, Nourished, Sheltered, Ensuring the Right to Life for All.
So sigurado ako excited ng ating viewers dahil inline sa ating tema, katalakay ng ating keynote speaker for today, ang kahalagahan ng play o ng paglalaro sa development ng kabataang Pilipino.
But wait, there's more. Magbibigay din ng recommendations ang ating distinguished guest for today ng mga safe at developmentally appropriate activities or materials para sa paglalaro ng mga bata.
Looking forward na ako actually, Teacher Agatha, na malaman kung bakit nga ba ang laro ay hindi basta lamang laro.
So, wag na natin tong patagalin pa.
Simulan na natin to!
So, yung speaker natin for today is part of the faculty of the UP Dalaman Department of Family Life and Child Development. So, please welcome Teacher Ted.
Hi, Teach! Kamusta naman po kayo, Teach?
Hi, Teach!
Okay naman.
Thank you po ulit for accepting our invite para maging speaker sa aming newest episode dito sa Circle Time.
Yan, perfect po na kayo yun nandito. Kaya grabe talaga. Sinabi po talaga namin na sana si Teacher Ted ang maging speaker ngayon.
Alam po namin na you're fit for the role.
Touch naman.
So wala pong bola-bola yun, Teach. Like, seryoso po kami doon. Para po hindi rin masyado humaba yung ating usapan, diretso na po tayo agad sa tanungan.
Ayan, Teach, may tanong ako. Ano yung favorite number mo sa electric fan?
Teacher,
Hindi mo yun?
Hindi yun yung topic natin for today. Dahil nga I mentioned kanina, we are celebrating National Children's Month. Siyempre, pag-uusapan natin yung mga bagay na pinakagusto ng mga bata, ang paglalaro.
Yan, exactly, Agatha. So, in relation na dun sa sinabi ni Agatha kanina na yung tema natin ay National Children's Month, mahalaga po na na-exercise ng lahat ng batang Pilipino ang kanilang right to life bukod sa kalusugan, sa nutrisyon at tahanan. Kasama rin dito yung paglalaro na tumutulong upang maabot ng kabataan ang kanilang full potential. So given po, Teach, na napakarami ng kahulugan ng paglalaro, ano po ang paglalaro para po sa inyo?
Para sa akin, in one word, pagiging malikha. Kasi it encompasses everything. Hindi lang yung paglikha gamit ang kamay, paglikha gamit ng ating isipan. Pati na rin paglikha ng relasyon natin. No? Sa paglalaro, pwede natin siya ma-discover at saka ma-test. No? Kung paano tayo makikipaglaro sa kapwa, paano tayo makikisalimuha, paano natin gagalawin yung mga bagay-bagay na available sa mga bata, even for us. As adults, di ba, tayo naglalaro pa rin, right?
Yes,
I agree po doon. Pero, yun nga, ang karamihan din po, ang alam is, pag naglalaro, dapat may laruan. So, if ang laro din po ay nakakabuo ng relationship, paano po talaga nasasabi na ang bata ay naglalaro?
Makikita mo yun sa bata Pag titignan mo yung mukha nila, makikita mo yung mata nila. They're very engaged with what they're doing. Andun sila mismo. No? Kung ano man yung binubuo nila, ano man yung nagluluto ba sila, nagtatayo sila ng blocks, makikita mo yung mukha nila na kung ano man yung iniisip nila, parang they're in their own world. Nakikita mo sa mata nila, very active yung mata nila. Hindi lang sila ginagalaw-galaw yung mga gamit, right? Nakita niyo naman yan, di ba? When you do your child observations, they're almost like creating their own world in that small space. In whatever it is that they're playing with, nabubuo na yun. Hindi na siya one-dimensional, two-dimensional. It's around them. And then you can see that in their faces.
Yes, that's true po, Teach. I agree with you since nag-implementation po kami, kitang-kita po namin pag naglalaro sila. Sobrang kala namin, baka naboboard na siya kasi sobrang tagal niya na dun sa parang book or dun sa toy na yon. Pero nag-enjoy talaga sila, Teach. So, Teach, yung lagi sinasabi is, laro ka ng laro, ganyan. So, paano po nakakatulong ang paglalaro sa development ng mga bata?
Ang isip kasi natin yung laro na maybe habulan lang or like may costume sila, no? Or like tinkering with certain materials. Pero in that aspect, they're actually trying to figure things out. It's either they're figuring out how their body works, strengthening their body by playing, active play, no? Running, jumping, climbing, and all those stuff. Tinetest na anong boundaries nila. Tinetest na ano yung lakas nila. When it comes to small items, tinetest na paano ko ba siya imamanipulate in the way that my mind works. No? For example, my son, makikita mo siya when he was like, medyo older na, when he was 10 years old, he has this tendency to play or he likes Star Wars. So makikita mo siya, wala siyang hawak, pero parang niro-rotate niya yung image ng helmet, for example. So in that way, we can see that a child would really try to manipulate or even reconstruct whatever it is that they see in the world, see in their surroundings, or even in a book. They would reconstruct this. Kaya makikita natin, no, yung development nila will follow along paano nila na-expand or napapalakas yung sarili nila in these various domains, no, that they would try to manipulate in their play.
So, kitang-kita naman na talagang napaka-helpful, Teach, no, ng paglalaro sa holistic development ng mga bata. Pero, hindi pa rin natin maiwasan na may mga tao rin na may mga misconceptions about play. So, in this segment naman po, magsasabi po kami ng ilang misconceptions tungkol sa paglalaro at hihingi po kami ng opinion nyo tungkol dito.
So, kasi diba po yung iba po nating mga magulang, iniisip nila na kapag naglalaro na yung bata mag-isa, may pansasabihin nila, kawawa naman, wala siyang kalaro. So, ang tanong po ng karamihan, dapat po ba talagang sinusupervise or ginaguide ng mga magulang yung mga bata pag naglalaro sila?
Para sa akin, no, there's always this balance. Pagka nakikita mo naman na engage yung bata, ibig sabihin, very active yung imagination niya. Very active yung paano niya ginagawa yung mga gusto nating i-explore niya. But when it comes to a point na parang walang nangyayari, then you can introduce another side of that play. You can expand it or introduce another facet of that material para madudugtungan niya yung paano niya lalaruin yung material na yon, yung toy na yon, or even anything, no, that's available to the child. At the same time, binibigyan kasi natin din ng importansya, no, na we hold back. Kasi hindi kailangan na palagi tayong nakaabang o ano nang susunod ng gagawin. Kasi nililimitahan natin yung opportunity niya to come up with their own solutions, with their own kind of, paano ko pa nga ba ito gagawin? Di ba even for you, meron kayo, you meet a challenge. Sometimes, the solution doesn't come right away. It takes for you some time to mull things over, think things over, and that's what we're stopping when we jump the gun, when we try to impose ourselves or insert ourselves in that play right away. So, para sa atin as teachers, inaabangan natin yon. Kailan ba tayo kailangan pumasok at kailan natin pwedeng intayin a bit para sila ang magkaroon ng initiative, magkaroon ng sarili nilang paglikha kung paano nila itutuloy yung laro na yun.
Opo, Teach. I can personally agree po with that. Kasi nakikita ko din po sa class ko na parang they want to do things din on their own. Like parang pag meron po silang, kunwari may nagawa po sila sa mga blocks, tapos hindi mo sila tinulungan, parang it does something to their confidence.
Yes, yes. At the same time, ako, hindi lang kasi play lang siya, no, for them. It's their way of reconstructing nga kung ano yung nakita nila. when you insert yourself in that play, yung reality mo na yung pinapasok mo doon. Not necessarily knowing ano yung gusto niyang gawin. Some children may not even be articulating it. No? Gine-guess mo. So, maybe your guess may not necessarily be what you're thinking. So, naiiba talaga yung play na yun.
Yes po, teacher. So, as FLCD students, yung sa 1 to 6 po namin, pinag-aralan po talaga namin yung play. So, paano po natututo yung child through play, and siguro po sa implementation namin, dun po namin nakita first hand kung paano mangyayari yun. So, kanina teach sa outdoor play, yung child na binabantayan ko, nagtatry siya mag-bike. So, may pedals na yung bike. And then, at first, hindi niya ma-figure out. So, yung first instinct ko is tulungan siya. I-push, parang, okay, I'll push you, and then try mo i-pedal. But then, hold myself back. Tapos, after a while, nakita ko siya, sobrang bilis niya na. Like, nagpe-pedal na siya ng kaya niya.
Tama yun, no, Teach. But, just a special note, we really practice being mindful at saka yung being present to them. Kasi sometimes, we have to see whether it's still safe for them or not. When it's too much for them at that point to tackle that particular challenge or not. Andun tayo as guide, no? Not necessarily to push them or dictate ano yung kailangan na nilang gawin.
Yeah, especially din po na today, nauso na din yung social media, yung TV, so baka din yung mga nakikita nila, magaya nila. So, it's important din for parents and teachers to correct those, yung mga nagagayang.
Yes, that's true.
And po, teach sa CDC yung classes natin by age group. So, meron tayong infants, tas yung toddlers, tas yung 3s, 4s, and 5s class. So, yung isa pong misconception po nila na ang mga sanggol daw ay masyadong bata pa para maglaro. So, ano po yung opinion nyo doon?
I think it's really defining what play is according to what they're capable of. So, even touching fingers, their own fingers, makikita mo yun eh. Minsan, favorite nila. Hahawakan nila yung paa nila. Pagka na-catch nila, isusubo nila. That's already play. Even babbling or playing yung bubbles, that's already playing, oh, I'm producing that sound. That's exploring their own body. And then, when you give them certain toys, teeter manto or shaker, it's making that sound. That's already play. It depends on how we describe or define play. And then when we see it according to what they're capable of or where they are, then we can have a more vivid picture kung paano natin din masusuportahan yung play na yun.
Okay, Teach, tanong ko lang din po for our audience. Since, ayun nga, Teacher Hani mentioned na we have an infant development program here in CTC. So, if you could just share din po kung ano po yung ginagawa ng mga infants. Kasi syempre, isipin nila, infants nasa school na. Ano ba yun? Parang ganun po.
It has actually changed from pre-pandemic, pandemic, and now. Luckily, I was able to go through all those phases for the infant development program. At the beginning, no, pre-pandemic, mas yung bata yung namin, yung focus. Sometimes the parents would come in. But during the pandemic time, yun, kasama na yung parents. No? Of course, no, practically, we don't have any chance to be with the children. And come the time na nag-face-to-face na ulit tayo, ang magandang naging change doon, kasama ulit yung parents. But throughout those 3 phases, no, let's say phases na lang yung sabihin natin, ang importante doon is to allow the children to really explore. No? Kung ano yung activities na ginagawa natin doon, exploration siya of their body, of their senses, para they come out of their thinking na, ito pala yung nangyayari sa katawan ko. Ito pala yung pwedeng mangyari sa paligid ko. At ito yung pwede kong gawin, no, with my environment, with the things that is available to me. At the same time, ang nag-iba lang nga during pandemic and now, kasama na yung parents. Ang kagandahan doon, nagbubukas na rin yung pagtingin nila. Paano ba to? Kasi nga, like what you said, ano ba yung ginagawa ng infants, no? So again, it's a redefinition. Ano ba? How do we learn? And by incorporating the parents or the families in the program, lumalawak din tuloy ngayon ang pag-unawa nila at pag-appreciate. Paano ba natututo ang mga bata?
So, sa usapang laruan naman, Teach, ayan. So, yung traditional way of thinking na yung cars ay para sa mga lalaki, tas yung dolls ay para lamang sa mga babae. So, ano po yung mga dahilan kung bakit ito mali?
Sabihin na natin, I would prefer not to say wrong or right, but it does present itself to the more traditional roles that we assign these objects or these parang traditional ways of being, no? Based whether you're a male or a female. Dahil ngayon nga, nagiging mas malawak na rin yung pag-appreciate natin, no? And when we see that play, and when we appreciate that play, it's really parang practice for life. We're really trying to figure things out. No? The children are figuring out, how do I become with this person? How do I play with this material? How do I use this material? They're also, di ba may pretend play? They're also trying out different roles. So when you limit certain materials for them, you limit them trying to figure out, paano ba yun for me? Especially for CDC, kasi we're really looking at the interests of children. Paano pagka yung babae interested talaga sa cars? Do we limit that as a way of them exploring whatever it is that is available in exploring that kind of toy, no? And vice versa for the male children. Paano mo malilimit sila kung gusto nila, for example, to take care of the baby, no? Baby doll as a doctor or as a father, for example. Then we limit that experience and exploration.
Yeah. So, ngayon po na nasa topic na din po tayo, Teach. Like, very short answer lang po. Kailangan po ba talaga ng laruan sa laro?
Hindi.
Hindi.
Short.
Ayan. So,
Idudugtungan niyo ba bakit?
Kasi yun nga, laruan, not in the aspect na toy talaga siya. It can be anything, like kahit ballpen lang. Tapos narinig nila mag-click, ay, nag-click pala. That in itself is already play.
Yes. At saka, yun nga, di ba, ang laro hindi naka-anchor sa material.
ayan. So, nalaman na natin kung ano nga ba ang paglalaro, paano nasasabi na naglalaro ang mga bata at ang kahalagahan ng paglalaro sa development nila. So, napag-usapan din natin ang ilang myths tungkol sa paglalaro. And babalik tayo after a short break with our guests at itutuloy natin ang usapan tungkol sa paglalaro.
The Circle Time Podcast is brought to you by the Family Life and Child Development Circle as one of the initiatives for the 2023 UP National Children's Month Educational Discussion Festival, which is in line with this year's theme, Ako'y Batang Bibo, Ako'y Busog, Ipinagmamalaki, May Bahay, at May Oportunidad. This podcast is co-presented to you by UP Children's Rights Advocates League, UP Flyers, UP Philosophy for Children's Society, UP Preschool Practitioners, and UP Volunteers for Children. It's time for us to take a break and make some time, so come along with us, make room for Chica Time.
Hello, Circle mates! Guess what? Circle Time's special segment is back. Circle Minute! I'm Teacher Phoebe, and for today's special episode, since our topic is the importance of play, I will be showing you a glimpse of one of our major tasks here in FLCD that is aligned in ensuring that the children can have their best play. So, let's go. So one of our major tasks here in FLCD is to create TMMs or teacher-made materials. So here's some examples of our TMMs. Kakatapos lang ang implementation namin. So fresh from the kids pa to. These TMMs, they look really cute and very enticing to play with. But these TMMs are carefully and specifically tailored for a specific age group of the class. And it should match their developmental skills and their interests. These TMMs are not only designed to look aesthetically pleasing and so that the kids would want to play with them. They're also designed so that they promote underlying skills across different domains and subject areas. So to broaden your perspectives about DMMs, let us interview some of our FLCD classmates to share with us their DMMs. So let's go. Okay, so tingnan natin if may mahanap tayong ka-course natin. Ay! Sham! Hi, Tisha! Hi, Teach! Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Teach Sham. I'm a second year FLCD student.
So, can you share with us your DMM? So, since kakatapos na ng implementation niya kanina rin.
Okay. So I made puppets for each kid in the 4s and 5s class. So this was used for social studies, science, math, and language arts.
So, can you further explain like why puppets yung napili mo for your class and what class are you assigned to?
Okay, so I chose puppets because it's the right amount of open-endedness and also a bit of structure, especially with how I made it. And it was used in the 4s and 5s class.
So, how did the kids play with your DMM naman? Like, how did you observe them playing with your DMM?
So they have a lot of props they can use in the classroom. So I was really happy to see that they used my TMM with the other toys kasi nga it's more of like creating stories with each other and also like trying to know more about themselves.
Ayun. So, Tisha, like, when creating your DMM, what is something that you really have to take note of? Like, ano ba yung tinuro sa atin sa FLCD na when you make DMMs, it should be like this?
Okay, so when I was making my TMM, the first thing I thought of was, what is the kid gonna do with it? Are they gonna put it in their mouth? Are they going to hit someone with it? So it really has to be safe in the classroom. And then, of course, it has to be engaging. It can't just be nice for me. It has to pique the interest of the children.
So after all that, the key concept here is that play is natural and it is owned by the child. However, us educators and caregivers can enhance this experience by being intentional in the materials we provide to the kids. So by offering DMMs that are aligned with their developmental needs and interests, we can create an environment where play is not only fun and pleasurable, but also a rich learning experience. So that's it for today and see you next time!
Ayan, nagbabalik ang ating circle time. Kanina, pinag-usapan natin kung ano ba talaga ang play o ang paglalaro. Pati na rin ang mga misconceptions na meron ang mga tao tungkol dito.
So ngayon, dako naman po tayo sa pag-apply ng mga concepts na diniscuss nyo kanina. So Teach, so paano natin ma-encourage ang active play sa bahay?
Dapat active din ng parents. Ready kayo makipaglaro and have fun. No? Kasi mahirap makipaglaro ang bata pagka yung mga parents ay target. They really enjoy it pagka kasama nila ang parents sa paglalaro.
Yeah. Ako din po, naririnig ko din po yan sa mga kids, lalo na sa CDC, na parang kinikwento po nila na, "Teacher, I like playing with my mom, we dress up," gano'n. So, iba din po yung bond na nabubuo nila with their parents. And ngayon po na napag-uusapan na natin ang play o ang paglalaro, paano naman ang mismong gagamitin ng mga bata na laruan? Ano po yung pwede nilang gamitin para po sa mga parents natin na nakikinig? Ano po yung mga pwede nilang gawin na mga materyales na magagamit sa bahay?
Kung sa bahay, depende what is available sa kanila. No? Malawak, I suppose, ang range ng materials na pwede nating gamitin para sa mas merong available na resources. Marami namang laruan, syempre mabibili. But actually, ang mas maganda or pwede rin naman na gamitin are the things that you can make, mas open-ended materials, or the things found at home. Kahit nga kaldero, pwedeng paglaruan ng mga bata, right?
Kahit nga po gulay.
Kahit gulay, pwedeng paglaruan. Kahit nga calculator. O, di ba? Pwedeng gawin cellphone or kung ano man. And then when you go outside, pwede kayong mamulot. Pwede kayong kumuha ng sticks. Pwede kayong magputol ng mga branches. Then you can make your own blocks. Sa, kunwari, if you're, kung available sa inyo, pag kami nagpuputol ng mga branches, paputol nyo rin yun. No? So I do that for my children when they were younger. So, meron silang sarili nilang blocks na hindi na siya yung squalado na square lahat, rectangle, bilog lang. Eto, kung ano-anong shape, ano-anong height, pwede nilang gawin. Oh. So, now, pwede silang mag-introduce ng mas malaking variety. Kasi hindi na siya, hindi lang square yung tower mo.
Opo. Like, yun din po kasi yung common misconceptions kasi 'di ba yung iba bili ng mga laruan, but as simple as branches, yung parang nahahawakan nila yung texture mismo ng branches is an experience na they learn about it, about plants, about yun nga trees, ganun. So, paano naman po natin malalaman since ayun nga na point out niyo po na kahit simpleng kaldero is pwedeng gamitin. Paano po natin nalalaman na safe or yung term po natin dito sa FLCT is developmentally appropriate. Paano po natin nalalaman na akma yun sa kanilang kakayahan bilang bata, yung laruan?
So, syempre, importante dyan, in-observe mo yung bata. No? Pwede ka mag-introduce ng maraming materials. So, una, observe mo, ginagamit ba niya? So, that's one way, at saka ginagamit niya in a manner that is hindi lang kung ano yung how it's being used. Makikita mo kasi yun di ba? Kung calculator siya, paano niya ginagamit ito? Nagpipindot lang ba siya o ginagawa rin niya cellphone, ginagawa niya sabon, for example. Then you can see na nagagamit ng bata yun. When it comes to other toys, makikita mo yung pagka hindi niya ginagamit or parang sandali lang niya ginamit yun, ibig sabihin, either lipas na siya doon sa stage na yon or masyado siyang advanced para doon sa bata. Titignan mo rin yung safety feature, no? Kahit binili mo yan sa store, madali bang mabaklas? May sharp edges ba siya? Kunwari, you provide your own materials, you made your own. Titignan mo, meron ba mga parts dyan na makakasugat sa kanya or masusubo niya at malululong niya. So, yung mga simpleng bagay, but kailangan tayo mas observant doon sa paano niya ginagamit at kung ano yung posible na magiging makakasama sa kanya. We're always a few steps ahead, no, when we're introducing materials to children.
Ayan. So, teach, ano naman po yung kailangan hanapin or yung mga dapat hanapin ng mga magulang sa isang laruan para masabi nating maganda yung may dudulot nito sa kanilang mga anak?
Siguro related na rin siya doon sa pagiging open-ended niya. Like I mentioned earlier, gaano karaming ways niya magagamit yung toy. Kasi kung isang way lang yun na magagamit, no, aasahan mo, sandali lang niya mapaglalaroan yun. So, maganda man ang itsura niya, makulay, malaki man siya, pero parang kung yun lang yung gamit niya, hindi niya magagamit ito for a long time. So, one thing, no, na masasabi natin na worth it yung material na yun or yung toy na yun, even ikaw mismo, matutuwa ka rin, no, makipaglaro dun sa bata. Kasi kasama ka dun sa, especially for the very young children, aayain ka nila dun sa laro na yun And then, when you yourself are enjoying it with your child, makikita mo, they also enjoy the material or the toys with you.
Opo, teach. Ako din po, nakikita ko din po yun sa mga kids ko sa class. Kasi yung kids ko po, mahilig po talaga sila sa blocks. Kasi ang dami po nilang nagagawa. Kahit blocks lang siya, yung simpleng kahoy lang siya. Ang dami po nilang ginagawa. Minsan po gumagawa sila ng tower. Pero minsan ginagawa po nilang daanan. Pero minsan sinasahog po nila sa luto-lutuan. Opo, parang ayun po, kahit simple lang siya na masasabi mo kahit block lang siya ng wood. Ang dami, yung imagination ng bata, umaandar siya habang nilalaro yung wood na yun.
Yun yung key doon, di ba? Yung imagination niya, it's not about the material, but what goes on in the child's mind. No? Paano niya nilalaro? Yun yung operative. Paano niya nilalaro? Di ba ang ganda ng word? Nilalaro niya sa isipan niya. Hindi lang niya nilalaro sa kamay niya o dito sa physical na environment.
Opo. So, may iba po ba kayong share na mga tips na maaaring gawin ng mga magulang? Kasi diba kayo po gumagawa din po kayo ng mga teacher-made materials na parang kahit tela lang po, nakakagawa po kayo ng puppet para po, yun nga, masuportahan yung play-based learning ng kanilang mga anak. So, ano po yung pwede niyong ma-share?
Para sa akin, no, kailangan nag-enjoy din yung magulang. This I also tell my students, kailangan kayo rin mismo nag-enjoy kayo. Kasi kung hindi ka masaya dun sa ginagawa mo, ang hirap niya i-translate sa isang bagay na matutuwa rin yung bata. Limitado rin, no, kung paano ma-enjoy ng bata yon. So pag ako, gumagawa ako ng material, I need to like it. Na ako mismo, matutuwa ako habang ginagawa ko siya. So that's one tip, no, for parents. Ikaw mismo, kahit na maglagari ka lang ng blocks, makikita mo mismo, maiisip mo, pwede itong gawing bridge, pwede itong gawing car, or things like that, no. Hindi, ikaw mismo natutuwa ka dun sa ginagawa.
Isa din pong suggestion yung medyas.
Yes,
Ang dami pong pwedeng gawin. Pwede siyang puppet. Tapos pag nag-puppet kayo, pwede kayong maglaro.
Ang dami, di ba? Ang daming manganganak na yun ang manganganak. At saka hindi na siya, yung about the material, like I said, it's not about the material, but what you can make out of it. Not just in your head, but you as in your relationship, in your connection with your child.
Ayan po, Teach. So, kanina pa po natin na-discuss yung role din po ng parents. And sa CDC, makikita po natin na strong yung relationship po nila. Ano naman po yung tips or pwede nyo pong ma-share para po sa mga ibang magulang na busy sa work o limitado lang yung kanilang oras para masamahan or masuportahan yung kanilang mga anak sa paglalaro nila?
Well, ngayon kasi, no, dahil nga sa kabisihan, no, it's a very challenging thing for parents right now. Kaya mas nagiging convenient to give them gadgets, for example, no. For very young children, talagang we veer away from those. And kung hindi man sila yung personally na makakasama ng bata, sana meron tayong katuwang or mapagkakatiwalaan na ganun din yung mindset na maglalaro kami ng bata or I will provide them with opportunities to play. Kung hindi man material, bring them outside to the park, no? Kung ano yung oras na hindi maibigay ng magulang on a daily basis, sana merong opportunity, might be in school or meron silang katuwanga or kasama na pwedeng mag-provide ng oras na ito.
Yeah. So, yun sa mga hello sa mga parents dyan. Enroll nyo na yung kids nyo dito sa CDC.
So, ayun nga
Yun
po.
pala yun, ano?
Nag-promote. So, ayun nga po, Teach. Alam na ng ating mga manonood yung kahalagahan ng play-based learning at yung iba't ibang paraan na para ma-apply ito sa kanilang mga bahay. Pero, tanong din po siguro ng iba, Teach, paano po siya naiiba sa traditional learning? Like, paano po nasiset yung boundary ng learning tsaka play?
Siyempre, for very young children, a lot of that will be based on the teacher. A lot of that will be based on the planning before the play. So tayo as teachers, kahit na yung bawat laruan na ipinapasok mo sa classroom, alam mo bakit yon ang pinili mo doon. No? Ang kaibahan, syempre available din siya sa traditional na schools. Mas structured lang sila, meaning na dapat may worksheet, dapat ang learning nasa libro, ang learning, no. This is a short answer. I cannot mention naman everything, no, that the traditional school will do. But tayo, yung worksheet na yon, yung libro na yon, we translate it into activities, we translate it into the stories that we will tell the children. And kung ano man yung gagawin natin na laro, no, may it be inside the classroom or outside the classroom, nakasalalay sa teacher yon paano ko ba titignan tong laro na to na I can achieve my goals in terms of cognitive development, socio-emotional, physical. So, naghahalo siya. Depende yan sa pag-i-implement natin ng activities. I'm sure you know that, no?
So, yun nga po, Teach. Gaya din po nung sinabi nyo kanina na yun nga, importante na yung laruan is open-ended. Meaning, lahat po ng category ng learning ay naa-apply siya doon. Pwede siya sa socio-emotional, sa language, sa cognitive, sa way ng pag-iisip nila. So, ayun din po. Isa din po, yun nga, ginagawa namin dito sa department is yun nga yung paggawa ng teacher-made materials na dapat yung binibigay natin sa mga bata, meron siyang purpose. And yung pag-i-implement, kailangan, yun nga, may natutupad yung objectives mo. So, meron pa ba?
Meron pa po kayong masashare, teach na mga tips na maaaring gawin ng mga magulang para masuporta nila yung play-based learning ng
Mga
kanilang
final
mga
words
Opo,
niya.
final words po.
Siguro, no, kung isa-translate ng parents kung ano man yung ginagawa natin sa school, ang daming materials na available for them. They can always try to learn more, no? But one thing that we can all apply, may it be parents or teachers, is really being intentional. Kung ano yung ibibigay natin sa mga bata in terms of toys, in terms of activities, alam natin bakit natin ginagawa, no? Kasi madali naman maglaro, no? Ang daming klaseng laro. But if our goal is to guide the child, to support them in their own development or learning, then we need to plan more, be more intentional. Paano natin siya gagawin? At ano yung gagawin natin?
Yes. So, ayun nga, plan more and be intentional. So, ayun po, thank you po ulit, Teacher Ted, sa pagsasagot ng mga tanong namin. Ayan, sa haba ng mga usapan natin, ang dami ko talagang natutunan kay Teacher Ted. Ikaw ba, Honey?
Oo naman! Na-realize ko nga na ang importante talaga ng play, lalo na sa mga bata kasi dito sila natututo at dito rin mas nasusuportahan ang kanilang development sa different developmental domains. Ayan.
Yes.
Developmental domains. Yan.
So, ayun nga. Pero yun nga, so pinaka-tumatak sa akin talaga is, ayun nga, yung play, hindi siya focus lang sa mga laruan. Like, as simple as yung mga gulay, pwede, hindi naman siya concept na paglalaroan niyo yung pagkain. Pero yung nagtuturuan kayo na ito ay talong, di ba? Parang, ginagawa ito sa pagluluto ng tortang talong. Mga ganun. Diba? Parang naglalaro kayo, nagkikwentuhan kayo, at the same time, natututo kayo parehas. So, ayun po yung pinakatumatak sa akin. Sa'yo, Honey.
For me naman, siguro makaka-relate dito yung mga ibang parents na, alam mo yung takot na, ay, wag ka dyan, anak, ganyan. Dito ka lang, ganyan. So, I feel like ma-incorporate ko siya sa future implementation, pag nagkaanak ako, na mag-hold back, pero be there, be present pa rin.
Oh, but I have to say this pala, no? Aside from that, ang nakakalimutan ko din sabihin, no? We be open to children, not just to observe them, but for them also na tumanggap tayo ng information from them. Kasi sometimes magugulat kayo, ay, hindi ko naisip yun.
Opo. Ako po na-experience ko yan na parang nagsasabi sila ng mga words na, paano nila nalaman yun? Saan nila nalaman yun? Kaya doon din po talaga lumalabas na parang hindi siya laro lang. Hindi siya laro lang. Laro is laro and hindi siya for the sake of enjoying, for the sake of leisure. I mean, it's part of it, but ayun, it's learning also. So, ayun nga, siguro it's safe to say that play is very important to everyone. Mula bata, kahit nga ata sa ating mga matatanda, ay importante na nakakapaglaro din. Kasi hindi lang ito libangan. Pwede rin tayong matuto ng napakaraming bagay sa mga galing dito.
Ayan. So, tama ka dyan, Agatha. Sa ating mga listeners dyan, sana natuto rin kayo sa ating naging session for today. Gusto rin namin malaman ang mga naging insight nyo. So, feel free to share to us in our Facebook page, ngayon sa YouTube comments, Facebook post comments, and sa iba pa naming mga social media.
I'm really excited to read those comments. And ngayon, kailangan na muna namin magpaalam.
Agad? Akala ko 5 minutes pa lang tayo, teach. Yan. Masyado na ako nag-enjoy.
Time flies.
Anyway,
Having fun.
sa lahat ng nakikinig, palagi tayong mag-iingat.
Yeah, dahil tag-ulan ngayon and magpapasko na, so malamig na. Wear your jackets. So yun, yun nga, make sure to always have fun.
Yes, make sure to always play. Yan. So, ako si Teach Honey.
And ako naman si Teacher Agatha. And we would like to thank Teacher Ted also. Teacher Ted. May mga sasabihin po ba kayo? Shout out. Shout out.
Shout out sa FLCTC.
Yes!
Ayan, namaos pa ako doon.
Paalam! See you next Circle Time! From dot and round back to the dot, with children and families at the center. This is Circle Time.